he was just like, have you ever thought about creating like generational wealth for yourself or creating a business? And I was just like, the generational wealth part, yes, but a business for myself, no. And they said yes, and that's when it all started.
So it's about a year and a half ago, roughly. Mm-hmm. And how many drivers do you have kind of working for Snappz now?
About 40.
So you went from 1 driver to 40 drivers in a year and a half. How did you do that, right? Because most, it's my appreciation for what you're saying right now for the folks in the audience that listen to this podcast. And like a lot of times I'm talking to people that are established, they've been around for 20, 30 years, right? We're talking to somebody that's been around for 2 years, and in 2 years has 40 drivers now working for you.
I started in my sedan doing gig apps, and a little, like maybe 3 months of doing that, I upgraded to an SUV, even though I know that it has a little bit more capacity, but not as much as like a cargo van or box truck. I started getting in contact myself with the SUV because I was able to hold more.
So when you think about the future, where you want to go, like what is your plan? Like where do you want to go? How far do you want to take this thing?
Hey everybody, this is Ryan Cunningham, owner CEO of Snappz Logistics, on the set of Last to First podcast.
All right, check this out. If you're in the last mile delivery industry, we have created something that's just for you. We've called it the Last to First Huddle, or the L2F Huddle. We can come into an ecosystem or community built for the last mile by the last mile. Now, you'll be able to get access to educational courses, right? Playbooks, as I call them. We build playbooks teaching you everything from A to Z in the last mile industry. Everything from how to set your right driver model, to how to navigate misclassification issues, to how to find customers, how to price that work, how to operate it, all the way through to if you want to buy a company, how do you value those businesses? We also have an AI tool called Ask Miles. Miles will answer any how-to question about the industry. I've personally trained it myself. It's pretty damn good. And then also, we're about community. So you're going to access coaches, experts. We have film studies or weekly calls. You'll be able to deep dive into workshops. Look, this is the place to be if you're in the last mile industry. L2FHuddle.com. I'll see you inside. It's time to huddle up. Let's do it. Last to First family, welcome back to our next episode on the Last to First podcast, where we bring you the innovators, the leaders that's pushing this industry forward. Today, we have a treat. I've got someone in the studio today whose journey is a little bit different. They didn't come from a background of being in the industry, but have found success very early on in their venture, and excited to have in the studio today with me, Miss Ryan Cunningham, who is the founder and CEO of Snappz Logistics, which is based right here in Texas, but pushing forward in many other markets. So Ryan, welcome to the studio.
Hi, good morning, Jason. Thank you.
So you had a little adventure coming in.
Yes.
So fender bender, literally around the corner.
Yes.
It always seems to happen right when, like, the worst opportune time.
Yes.
Yeah. So we met initially, I'm maybe at a conference, but then at the CLDA meet and greet we had here in Austin, maybe 6-7 months ago. So, oh my God, I said 6-7. My kids are going to be doing the 6-7 when they see this. Have you heard the 6-7 thing?
No.
You haven't heard? You have kids?
No.
Okay, so this is like a phenomenon right now. All these kids, you say 6-7, I have no idea what it means, but they start doing 6-7. It's a thing. I don't know.
Okay.
So in the audience, you hear 6-7, you're going to know what I'm talking about. You got kids. All right, I digress. But we met at a CLDA meetup, and I was really inspired by your story and what you've accomplished in a short period of time. So happy to get into that on the podcast today. But let's just start off with just maybe explaining your business, right? Who you are, where you operate, what you do, and then we'll get into your story.
Okay. I'm Ryan Cunningham. I'm based out of Texas. We deliver everything from e-commerce to medical supplies and now freight interstate with cargo vans and box trucks.
Okay. And how long have you been in business?
2 years.
2 years. Wow. Yes. So how did you get into the industry? Kind of give me some sense of your background. How did you get into Final Mile?
I spent a decade in the medical field. And while in the medical field during COVID, I just seen online women in the transportation logistics space just making an impact. I was just like, I want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I invested, obtained my CDL Class A with my endorsements, TWIC and passport, started with a company, drove for a year. And with the rates and everything, I'm like, no. So I started 3 months into being over the road as a CDL driver with a company. I started my LLC. I was just like, I feel like there's something I can do to make a change and add, have families or individuals make money as well. So I started doing that. I started going to trucking events, learning a little bit more about logistics other than just being a company driver. And then I joined an organization to like solidify what I was doing was right. Signed up to like learn about government contracts to be able to do transportation as well. And I started in my sedan doing gig apps, and a little like maybe I don't know, maybe 3 months of doing that, I upgraded to an SUV, and even though I know that doesn't have, it has a little bit more capacity, but not as much as like a cargo van or box truck. I started, I started getting contracts myself with the SUV because I was able to hold more. Um, and then one company reached out to me, and I'm still partnered with them till this day. And after expanding to a Minnesota per contract opportunity,
Hold on, you're going way too far.
oh,
I got you give me the whole story in the first opening question. Hold on, let's back you up a little bit. I want to go back to you said you were in the medical field. What were you doing?
I was a national certified medical assistant, phlebotomist, and EMT basic.
Okay. And so I guess in that work, did you see courier? Like when was the first time you saw like a courier, when you understand kind of what a last mile courier, medical courier was? Like, did you interact with them at all in your role?
Yes. Like the ones I picked up, like the medical supplies, like the specimen when we just did a test.
Yeah.
Or when we needed specimen or medical supplies or specimen, or if we needed office supplies, there was someone coming that necessarily didn't have to be in like a uniform. They were just be in a nice shirt and just pants.
Yeah. So you kind of saw that and it kind of piqued your curiosity a little bit.
Yes.
And you mentioned, I don't know if you read about, but it was kind of women in logistics kind of hit home to you some kind of way. What specifically about it would you see? What was like attractive about what you saw with a woman being in the logistics industry?
I was just like, they're independent. Some of them had children, some of them didn't, but they're able to travel the world and make an impact and get others to join. So I was that inspired me. I was like, I want to do the same thing and impact and inspire others as well.
If you're tired of chasing drivers for proof of deliveries, scanning paperwork at midnight, or dealing with "I never got my package" claims, Different was built to fix that. Digital signatures and photos captured instantly on any device. POD goes straight to your customer once your driver hits complete. No more phone calls, no more scanning, no more dealing with claims 6 months down the road because you couldn't find paperwork. Different was built by operators who ran a courier business for 35 years. They've lived your problems, so they built real solutions. Check out deliverdifferent.com/last to first. Yeah. And so your first thought was, I'm going to get into trucking, right? So that's probably you say class A, over the road. Mm-hmm. What was it about let me back up before I ask that. What was the process getting your class A? Was that a hard process? Did you do it like locally? Did you go online? Like, tell me, just give me some of the background there of that process.
I actually did it locally, and what took me a minute, had taken me a moment, was that I had to find one that was like my price range, because everything when it comes to cost and everything like that. And being in a military town, most of them supported military, so I'm like, well, I'm not a military, not a veteran. Mm-hmm. So I finally found one that was in my price range that I could do on the weekend, and did it for 4 months and obtained my CDL.
Got it. Okay, so you got the CDL and you start over the road trucking. Mm-hmm. And so are you going cross country? Like, were you out the gate? You were on your own? Were you paired up with someone initially? I'm trying to understand, like, step by step, like literally how far did you go before you said this is not for me?
We were doing well, but it wasn't well enough to be like to stay together. So they decided to do other avenues, and I was just like, I still want to do this. I still want to get the experience. Mm-hmm. So if I decide to do something else, I'll be able to still do it without having to have the experience.
Got it. And then how did you kind of transition from that to the last mile segment of transportation?
How did I transfer? When I was backing into this yard and it was dark. There was not much lighting, and I literally flagged down this gentleman, and he almost ran me over. And I said I needed help to get the code to get into the gate, and he was like, "You can park right here." I said, "There's no way." I was like, "There's no way I can back into it." He's like, "I'll guide you," and I was just like, "I can't even see you." But after backing, I got into the spot. Luckily, he was just like, "Have you ever thought about creating like generational wealth for yourself or creating a business?" And I was just like, the generational wealth part, yes, but a business for myself, no. Um, and he was just like, well, why not? And I was just like, I just never thought about it. I said, I know I have a good aura energy to like with people, but for me to like promote something, I was like, oh no, I don't know what the impact I can do. So he kind of like gave me some, oh my gosh, excuse me.
Yeah.
He had given me some tips to get my LLC, my business bank account, so I could start getting some business
Okay.
revenue. And from there, that's when I started researching other companies, attending their webinars to learn how to get onto their, potential contracts, and attending trucking events.
Got it. See, so I'm gonna figure this out. So you kind of had I guess the entrepreneurial bug start to bite a little bit, where you're like, this is something I think I can get into. And so you ultimately start off doing working in gig apps, right? So which is not uncommon. But I think a lot of people that come brand new into it, probably at like that driver level, some of the lower hanging fruit kind of work is the gig app work, right? So what were the first few apps that you got on, and how was that experience was it consistent for you? Were you making money? Like, what did you learn in those first few, I guess, months of doing gig work?
The first few were like, of course, the Uber and the Lyft, um, driving people. That's okay, but a lot of people don't have respect for your vehicle. There's nothing against people that I was, I'd offer like mint or water just to kind of keep them, or a phone charger just to keep them comfortable at bay. I started doing like catering apps. That was big. All around Killeen and Austin, and auto parts. I was able to do auto part deliveries and then medical deliveries as well. Once that came in, that was inspiring to me because I had already did. I was already on the stage doing the medical work of the medical assistant, so being able to be in the background and still provide care behind the scenes, that was awesome.
So, and did you have any funding, any reserves at this point, or were you kind of just living off the money you made off the apps?
I was literally living off the money I made off the apps.
How consistent were you? How many orders per day were you doing roughly? How much money were you making a week roughly? Like, give me some sense. Like, I'm trying to paint the picture of like the early days of your journey.
The early days, starting off on my sedan, I was making about 250 to 300, and I was just like, that's not
per week,
per day.
per day. Okay.
Yes. And then I started doing more research for more opportunities though for a car, and it wasn't that I couldn't get really much with that. But when I upgraded to an SUV, people were like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So I started getting like recycled diaper routes, auto part routes, and then I started getting like a medical, some airplane part deliveries.
Got it. And it's all coming through gig apps. All right.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so I know at some point you kind of transition beyond just doing the gig app work, right? But before we get there, what were at some point you had to say, look, I want more, right? So you mentioned like you got a bigger vehicle and that opened up some opportunities. But at what point did you say, like, I want to actually get beyond just this on demand, kind of waking up and not knowing really what I'm gonna do today type of work?
When did I get there?
And maybe you still do a lot of it today. I don't know. Maybe it's still a big part of what you do today.
Yeah, it's still there. I'm still growing. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was just like I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck in a sense. Even though I'm my own boss now, and here I am still living paycheck to paycheck in a sense. So I was just like, I need to be more. I need to go into rooms and have conversations with people and learn a little bit more and do some research. And from that, like I said, the company I'm still with today, they reached out to me. I don't know if I'm able to say like LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, via LinkedIn, and they asked me if I had cargo van. I said I don't, but I have drivers that have the cargo vans to to add the capacity to do the work, and they're like, okay, and that's
at that point you had. So what company was it?
Jitsu delivery.
Okay.
In Dallas, Texas.
Okay. All right. And so at that point you already had drivers working underneath your brand. Because
Yes.
tell me about that. Tell me maybe before you go to the Jitsu story. Who was the first driver you contracted with? I'm not sure if you hired, employed. Like, explain the model to me, and then how did you kind of go about building your own driver fleet?
It started in Temple, Texas, which is like an hour from here, with the auto part delivery. With auto parts, it's like a job in a sense to me because you're literally doing from 8 to 5, and I was just like doing that 8 to 5 wasn't giving me time to be able to expand and grow or even meet up, have conversations with people like outside of just being over the phone.
Yeah.
And once I asked, was I able to bring a driver on? They're like, yes, you just need to train them. They need to know the protocols and how to move forward and how to do the work. I was just like, okay. I put an ad out. I'm looking for a driver. A car to a sedan to a SUV that could do auto part deliveries, and that was like the first initial bug. Like, oh my gosh, I'm actually paying someone to to do some work. I was just like, okay, I gotta keep washing, rinsing, and repeating.
Yeah. And did you know anything about the legal side of that, like how to set the contracts up? Did you have a contract in place with the driver, or was it or you kind of just figuring out as you went?
I was figuring out as I went. I created a contract with squared up, and I was able to put like, this is the pickup time, this is the destination, this is the app you need, and then I would train them like, these are each stops. You get breaks between each round, and
so put a pin in that for time. When did you hire that first driver? Like what?
I think I was doing auto parts for about 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
And that's when I asked. I was just like, am I able to like have something?
Almost 2 years ago. Right. You started 2 years ago, so it's 2 or 3 months into starting?
No. Okay, so this is the crazy part. I guess I didn't say this part. Like, I started my LLC while over the road, like in August of 2023, but I really didn't get my hands into like building my business until April 2024.
Okay.
So in about June, July, that's when I started my auto part route.
Okay.
And then after doing it for a little bit, I was just like, okay, this is nice. I said, but I feel like I need to be doing more. So I asked if I was able to bring someone on like subcontract.
Yeah.
And they said yes. And that's when it all started.
So it's about a year and a half ago, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And how many drivers do you have kind of working for Snappz now?
About 40.
So you went from one driver to 40 drivers in a year and a half.
Yes.
Do you know how incredible that is? Like
yes.
That's not something that's easily done.
Bro.
All right. So now I got to hear this. I'm excited to hear this part of the story. Right. Now we got something to talk about now.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. How did you do that? Right. Because it's my appreciation for what you're saying right now for the folks in the audience that listen to this podcast, and like a lot of times I'm talking to people that are established. They've been around for 20, 30 years, right? We're talking to somebody that's been around for 2 years, and in 2 years has 40 drivers now working for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But it also comes with a lot of growing pains, I'm sure. Things that you are not aware of until, something happens, right? So the automotive account, you start off with that. So do you continue to build with that one customer, and then are you expanding to other customers, adding more drivers on? Mm-hmm. What happens from a geography standpoint? Like, do you start going outside of your territory? How are you managing that? And give me some sense of the things that you start to experience as you're bringing other individuals in to help execute the business.
I guess for like the one contract I have now with the Jitsu. Oh, sorry. Yeah. With the Jitsu contract, I did a route just to see what it was like. Mm-hmm. But I did it in my SUV just to see like, oh, okay, this is not bad. Just, from point A from the warehouse to people's front door. And from there, I reached out to individuals with a cargo van, and I was just like, when you come to the warehouse, these are the steps you need to do, and just deliver to the front door, make sure the address is correct, so there's no missed deliveries. And I went from there. Some people, like when you talk about with the grunt pain, the pay, I'm just like, I understand. I understand the pay. I said, but, with your performance, I can talk to them to renegotiate. But right now, this is what the pay is at.
You're talking about drivers maybe complaining, saying, hey, I'm not getting paid enough to run these routes.
They're in cargo vans, they're driving excess amount of miles, which I understand. Like, so, that's when they want more boxes to deliver, more meal prep boxes. I'm like, I understand. I'll be like, okay. And then you have people that have done that, and then they don't want to do the route. I've also experienced someone abandoning boxes in a parking lot. Like, what? Just left it. Scrambling, trying to be like, hey, can you go pick up 20 boxes? Can you go? Like, that was intense. Because that's a big bill. Because not only am I responsible for the drivers, I'm responsible for customers' packages. They're expecting their food.
Yeah.
And so When it came to expanding to, like, you're asking for different territories, like, I established a foreign entity in Minnesota to do a contract opportunity. I did that for about 8 months. Experienced my first peak season, so it was just like,
Now you on these so you're picking up from the customer's dock in these contracts, so you're not having to get your own warehouse facility.
right.
You're going, you are finding the driver network and bringing that to a customer's dock to execute these deliveries, whether it be automotive. I heard you mention food. So okay, you branched into Minnesota, right?
Mm.
I mean, you're in Texas, right?
Yes.
And you're not a large company where you have a lot of people
Exactly.
to manage this stuff. So how do you do that? How do you manage an operation in Minnesota while also still dealing with the core base here in Texas?
I'll call, the day before. Are you available? Your vehicle okay? I'll ask your schedule a week in advance, and I'll also ask the day before just to make sure everything is running smooth and everything's available. Also sometimes have, two or three drivers on standby just in case there's any issues. If not, in the reserve, I gotta go to my Rolodex. Like, hey, are you available today to do a delivery?
And do you build this Rolodex? I mean, where do you find these people at? You going on websites? You have some relationship with the vendor that helps you find people, like word of mouth, like
Word of mouth.
word of mouth.
Word of mouth. And then when I post, like, on social media, be like, hey, I'm looking for drivers with this vehicle type. People reach out to me, and then also word of mouth as well. And then on my webpage, I have a driver opportunity tab where I ask everyone's demographics, vehicle type, certification. So I'm able to be like, oh, perfect. Kind of like a CRM, like, but not like automated, but I'm able to check on it and get.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So today you have 40 drivers.
Yes.
Are you still operating in Minnesota?
No.
No. Okay. You stopped the operation. What happened there?
This year, SCI celebrates 30 years of innovation. Since 1996, we've led the way with advancements that have shaped the final mile industry. In 2000, SCI became the first online TPA, and in 2002, the first to offer designated client portals. By 2005, we expanded customer service by creating dedicated teams for individualized support. Innovation continued in 2012 with the launch of live chat and full digital enrollment. In 2019, SCI became the only TPA with full access to W-2 processing and launched Adapt Payroll. In 2023, we were the first to launch a mobile app, and in 2024, the first to integrate full AI enrollment. For 30 years, SCI has delivered progress, trust, and innovation, and we're just getting started. Learn more at sciadmin.com.
They want to do change with the contract, and my company wasn't the ones to go forward, but a few others. So
they made a change in the contract. I want to dig into some of the financial aspects of this because as a younger entrepreneur in this industry, right, one of the things I like to talk about on the podcast is the value, right? So there's a lot of volume in our space, particularly now when we see the changes in consumer behavior and last mile is becoming more relevant to shippers. But sometimes the freight that we're being asked to move is so cheap, it's almost like you're working for nothing. Okay. So what's been your experience from a profitability standpoint? And not that I'm asking you to share me your exact numbers, but are you able to track how profitable you are off of these opportunities that you're gaining?
Yes. And from that, I look at it and I'm just like, oh, this is not worth it, but it's worth it to that driver. So I don't just stay with one opportunity. That's when I find another opportunity. So let's say you finish with that one contract in the morning. I got something for you in the morning or afternoon. Like,
so you're trying to keep stacking up opportunities.
Yes.
But for the business, right? So the driver, of course, obviously, and I truly believe that the driver is the glue, is the quarterback of everything that happens. Because without the driver, nothing really happens in this industry.
Yes.
So, and they're a customer, right? As much as we like to think of our customers or shippers as our customers, the driver is really the most important customer I think we all have. So you have to take care of them, but you can only take care of them if the business is doing well too. Right. So when you are evaluating these opportunities, are you looking at gross profitability of the opportunity? You're looking at the expenses associated with it. Maybe from an insurance standpoint, you have to add new insurances to the table. You're looking at the growth, the net income of the opportunity. So you going through like a deep dive. You're getting into the numbers, the weeds of these opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah. And are they opportunities that you think are sustainable? It means in terms of you can continue to build off it, or you have to kind of complement it with something else to make sure that it all works.
Both.
Both. Okay. Explain it.
Like some contracts, the numbers look great if I were doing the delivery by myself.
Yeah.
But when I have to add other people on, I gotta account for like their vehicle type and their gas. Like, not saying I pay for fuel, but I got to accumulate. I have to think about their time, the miles, and the distance, and the amount of packages. And when it's an opportunity that I can handle, like, I don't know, like I said, if I'm able to say, like, my MC DOT, I'm able to do like things interstate. So people that don't necessarily have their motor carrier, I'm able to authority. They can do routes over the road, or to stay regional or local as well.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say has been the most challenging part of your journey so far?
When it comes to, I love going to events, but it kind of like, I wish when we go to these events and get individuals' contact information, and they're like, "Oh, we are in a need, like, in that area," and I'm like, "Okay, I can help you with that. Like, I have a network of drivers that can help service that area," and then you don't get any response. That's been my one. Like, I wish when we go to these events and shake people's hands and get to know them, and they're more personable than me. I'm just trying to focus on like the business part and how can I help them. But once they get more personal, I'm like, "Oh, okay, y'all are liking me a little bit. Okay, great." But when I follow up and it's time to go home, like, that's when I feel like
Crickets.
Yeah,
Crickets.
I don't.
Why do you think that is? Have you ever like really been able to talk to one of them and say, "Hey, we thought there's opportunity, but didn't follow up"? Like, have you ever been able to figure out what's happening there?
Yeah. Not yet. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for me to catch someone in a room or follow up, but I haven't been able to do that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I reach out. I follow up, email, call. If I have the person number, I'll call their phone. Like, I'm like, "Hey, I got your personal contact."
You called my phone a couple of times since we met. Yeah, yeah. Which I did respond, right?
Yeah, you actually responded. Like, I respect you for that, because I wouldn't be here today and we wouldn't be talking, if we didn't actually meet and converse. So I thank you for that.
Well, I think that's I experienced that too when I first got in the industry. I think some of it is a product of just you have to kind of stay on people's radars, and so it's just a consistency game. Because the reality is you never know when your opportunity is gonna kind of fall in your lap, and some of the biggest ones I've ever had were years down the road. Like, I met someone and didn't think much was there, and all of a sudden they remembered me because we met a couple years ago and we talked about whatever it was, and then some of those opportunities kind of fell in my lap and I was able to capitalize on them. So don't lose hope. I know it might get discouraging, and someone like you who's managing a lot of different balls, right? You're truly still, I think, you're owner operator in the sense of you are still at times running the business, like in the business, right? You're not just always 100% working on the business, and so it can be challenging. But you're not sitting in the seat and you didn't get to 40 drivers because you're afraid of a challenge,
Right?
Yeah, that's not who you are. It's not your DNA.
Right.
So just keep at it, right? I encourage you to keep at it.
Drop-off brings peace of mind, convenience, and professionalism to every delivery. We're helping healthcare, retail, and industrial businesses offer a better delivery experience. You can place a delivery online from your computer or phone any time of the day, with upfront pricing and to-the-minute arrival times. Real-time tracking allows you to monitor your delivery on a live map throughout the entire process. You'll get automatic confirmations when your order is picked up and delivered. Our couriers are vetted, uniformed, and only drive in marked vehicles, guaranteeing a professional experience every time. You can rest easy knowing that we will represent your brand exactly the way you need us to. We're committed to providing exceptional customer service. That's why our delivery experts are available 24/7 to ensure your business goes uninterrupted. This is same-day delivery made simple. Talk to a same-day delivery expert on dropoff.com or call us today.
But one thing I want to focus on when you do get these opportunities. So, how are you able to find them? Like, are they finding you? So whether it be the gig side or whether it be like the Jitsu or some of the other customers, maybe the Minnesota one or the ones you're looking at now, how are you finding these opportunities? Are they finding you online or are you targeting them?
Both. Majority of it is me finding them, and then also like going to events and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I've seen you on LinkedIn." I'm like, "Oh, great! Like, okay, how can we assist you today?" You know.
Yeah. And so when you get the opportunity from a like, so sometimes you like, I'm getting to why I think what you're doing is so special, because a lot of times when these opportunities come in, they come in a spreadsheet. It's, a bunch of stops, like a bid package, RFP, and someone's got to break that down. You got to put in the route. You got to map it, understand your miles, understand the driver costs, right? Understand your administrative burden, right? So there's a lot of things that go into bidding this stuff.
Right.
Is anyone helping you with all this?
Honestly, no. So a lot of it is really trial by error. I feel like I've done okay doing it, but maybe in time I'll talk to someone about it. But for the most part, I've trial by error.
Yeah. And so and that's like, it's not uncommon. That's what you're doing, what you have to do, and you're working with the knowledge base you have. And I think that's why there's a tool that I'm not sure when this episode comes out, but it may be out there now, where we're inviting people into our online community to help them with some of these details, actually teach them how to price work out,
Okay.
how to actually look at a RFP and understand exactly what it means, how to understand all the expenses associated with it. I mean, from top to bottom, right? Because a lot of times, in my case, there were opportunities just like you. I remember my first one was we started doing white glove home delivery.
Okay.
And because I heard everybody else doing it, and I'm like, well, I got to do it too, right? And we won some work, had bid it wrong, underpriced it, and 3 months in, we're losing. God, this must have been almost $5,000 a week losing money because I missed a lot of the costs. I didn't, in that world, the scheduler, which I know has changed now with technology, but you needed someone there to actually call people up and set appointments up. And if a driver was late to appointment, the whole route for the day got out of whack. And so we just learned a whole lot, but it cost a lot of money. And ultimately we had to get out of that business line.
Right.
But I think a lot of folks who are coming into the industry with all the right intentions, they're not always prepared to understand how to price work out, right? And so what happens sometimes, I'm not saying this is you, but what happens sometimes is the shipper or the 3PL, they may try to take advantage of that, right? They take advantage of that inexperience. So they may look at you and say, okay, well, you're going to charge, this price when everyone wants to charge on that price, and I'm going to go here. And sometimes it inadvertently holds the industry at a lower value, right? And again, this is to say, look, I applaud you for what you've done, because you've done more than most. But I think as an industry, right, and you give me your thoughts as the industry, if you had a tool that helped you dig into this a little bit deeper, understand the numbers, understand where the industry is, how much more successful and more profitable you would be.
Way more, because like what you're talking about, or every little step with white glove, what about if you have to wait for the customer? They're like, oh, I just went to the store real quick. Or let's say they're living in an apartment or a 2-story home. Oh, that needs to go upstairs. You count for the stairs,
Yeah.
like things like that, like all those little crunch numbers, like, you don't think about, or even sometimes like the contract I have now, like sometimes in the morning the truck is delayed or they're delayed getting everything together. Now the driver, they're like, it's 8 o'clock, I still don't have my packages. I'm like, okay, let me see what I could do to see if I get compensated for wait time.
Yeah.
Like, like, I know we all have 24 hours in a day, but those 2 hours, they could have been doing something else to deliver,
Yeah. Time is money, especially in this business, right? Literally, every second counts.
Yes.
And to your point, right, had you maybe been a little bit more informed on how to negotiate or understand, like, hey, I need to account for waiting time in these scenarios, because I just know that this is going to come with some waiting time. So when it happens, I got a plan in place, versus now you're trying to go back to a shipper and it's going to be very difficult for them to pay you now because you already set pricing in place.
Right.
And I got to deal with your other customer, the driver, who's sitting there complaining, saying, you got me sitting out here for 2 hours and my wheel's not moving. Right? No driver wants to be sitting idle. It's not in this industry, right?
Right.
So I think that those are things that I hope that a lot of folks can start taking advantage of, because at the end of the day, right, what I want for all of us, whether you just came in this thing 2 years ago or you've been here for, 20 plus years, is to raise the value of what we do because it's so critical and valuable to the marketplace, the services we offer. And I think the more informed we are, the more successful we can be, the more value we can create. All right, I'm going to switch to another gear here. You and I talked offline about innovations you're seeing, right? So someone who's 2 years in the industry, talk me through the systems that you use today to help you manage it. And I'm trying to get to where you think, you may have some gaps and things that you still need to get, maybe more resources you to have, and also what you're using today from managing. How do you manage your business today?
Oh.
Are you on the TMS platform?
No. I'm honestly, I'm not using anything.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. I know there's AI. I know there's route optimizations, but the apps provide that, not me.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if I'm doing a business-to-business contract, they don't have apps in play. So I have to have the drivers take a picture, send it to me, and then I can send it to them to be like, oh, it was delivered,
Yeah.
So that's something I need to work on. There's electric vehicles. And there are, of course, TMS systems, so I'm able to see, the customer can see, and also the client. But I don't have that in place unless I'm, with a contract.
So so you're saying if a shipper, 3PL, a partner says, hey, we need you to use our system, use our app, you'll download the app or have the drivers download the app and kind of work through their system.
Yes.
But if you're going direct to a customer right now, you don't have your own platform for Snappz to manage this business. So that's a very manual process, right? So at 40 drivers now, you get into a point where it's probably keep you up at night, I'm sure.
Yes.
Trying to go back and reconcile.
I'm like, it's almost 8. What's going on?
Yeah. And look, and again, you're 2 years in, so this is all good conversation, education for it. I guarantee there's someone in this audience that's listening to you that is like, okay, I'm seeing where she's at, and I need to kind of get on track. So, and I think that's also the beauty of this industry is that, there's not a real big barrier to entry. Like if you have a vehicle and a cell phone, and somewhere without some hustle, like you can get in the game and start doing some things.
Right.
If you want to go from kind of being a backup player to a starter to really get to that next level where you can go and say, hey, I am now fully ready to engage with larger opportunities. I'm saying larger. I'm talking about, maybe, $500,000 to $1 million up, right? That's when you need to have all these things in place, right? The insurances, the systems, the recruiting pipeline, the back end accounting and financing, right? All the things that I'm sure you are doing, right?
Yeah.
But you're probably like an octopus right now. You're probably,
yes.
probably doing a whole bunch of it, and sometimes it's hit or miss. So when you think about the future, where you want to go, like what is your plan? Where do you want to go? How far do you want to take this thing?
I would love to be able to obtain a warehouse, obtain company vehicles for myself. So for drivers that are in a sedan and they have the experience to drive a bigger vehicle after training, they're able to do it from a company vehicle. Potentially become provide services for the government. That'd be awesome because those are big contracts. So that's my goals.
Okay.
Get a warehouse, get company vehicles, and potentially partner with the government to do contracts.
Got it. So government contracting. Have you started looking to government contracting?
Yes.
Okay. You see opportunities there for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Are you 8A certified now? Are you a WBE?
No, that's still in progress. I'm still working on that. I don't have any certifications, but I'm working on it.
Okay. And in warehousing, why warehousing? What attracts you to the warehousing?
Because when there's excess of products produced, people don't know where to put them at. So instead of giving them to option A or B, they can give them to me, and I can get them delivered to your customers.
Yeah. Like exactly right. Yeah. At first, if it was for me, I think I may have told the story on the podcast before. When I first went back to New Orleans to join my family's business, I was living in Philadelphia before I went back to New Orleans, and my dad, who had a relationship with someone in Philadelphia, he had a delivery company called Diamond Transportation, Claudia Post. And he's like, before you come home, I want you to go visit this company and just get some ideas. Right. And I knew what my parents' business was. It was basically in a small office back in New Orleans. And I put up at this address in Philadelphia, and I walk into an 80,000 square foot warehouse. I mean, it was like going like a Home Depot of like last mile. Like they had everything in there, like moving around, people in the forklifts. And I was like, oh my God, this is the same business that we have in New Orleans? No way. Mm-hmm. And what it did was it opened my eyes up to, I knew from that moment, like I want to get into warehousing, because to your point, when you have the ability to cross dock and receive freight in, not only you open up yourself for more opportunities from shippers who don't have those facilities, they need to partner with somebody that does, but you also can add more value to your bottom line. So now I can make more money. I can make money to inbound it. I can make money to store it. I can make money to sort and seg it out. I can make money to outbound it. And I'm definitely going to make money to deliver it to you.
Right.
And so it almost opened up like 4 more revenue streams than otherwise you wouldn't have access to. And so, but the downside of warehouse, especially today, there's the other side of that is like, sometimes the rents are expensive and you're locking yourself into, typically a longer term. So it's kind of chicken and egg things. Like, how do you do it first, right? You got to get the space first and then the customer, or do you get the customer in the space? So we could talk about that more offline, but but I do think you're thinking about it the right way, because that does open you up for some opportunities that you probably can't get today, or you rely upon your customer to have that in place, or partner, right? Some people do partner with warehouse providers too. We're getting close to time. I want to wrap up, but I want you to talk about 2 things that you mentioned to me. One, you've recently become a legal advocate.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What does that work entail?
It's pretty much me speaking with small businesses, at-home businesses, individuals, and families. But also, I've been focusing more on the CDL drivers and rideshare drivers. For like when DOT inspects a truck driver, CDL driver, if one little screw is missing on their license plate, maybe out of service. You were out of service 5 seconds, so they can fight that opportunity. Or when they're delivering with door to door, when delivering in their personal vehicles and it's downtown, you don't want to park somewhere 5 minutes away and then you got a citation because you just hurried up and ran upstairs, and now you're like, oh man. So I've been helping my drivers do that, but also like small businesses or at home businesses to be able to also make revenue but protect their businesses, like for reading contracts. We get excited when we get a contract. We're like, oh, here we go. But we don't always read the fine print, and one little mistake and here we are getting sued, or hundreds of thousands, or unfortunately having to go and close our business because we didn't read all the fine print. So being able to have legal help at your fingertip has been doing great. I've been helping drivers and business owners to be able to fine tune and not just skim what they're reading, but also having someone to read it. If anything was
so it's like having almost a legal aid, a lawyer kind of at your fingertips to help you with some of these, the contracts or the citations, issues that you run into. What's the name of the business?
Legal Shield.
Legal Shield. Okay. Yes. And how can they find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, or on my website, contact@snappzlogistics.com. But if you're interested and want to know a little bit more, contact me. We can have a 3-way, we can have a Zoom. I can take you, we can meet up and have an event, or I can come to you and explain more. So that would be a great opportunity.
Awesome. And my last question to you, which I ask all of my guests, is your last to first moment. It's the moment, if you can point to, whether it be professionally or personally, that kind of helped you get to where you are today, right? You had to, it's a critical point where you have to make a decision to say, I'm going to avoid this, I'm going to do this. That kind of led you to going from last to first. So what will be that moment for you?
The moment was myself. I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and I know to get recognized, I need to go talk to people. So once I started doing that and making more intention to contact them directly and speak to them, that was that moment. I've also I made an impact with my sister. I found a contract while being home doing catering, and she's making now $300 to $500 a day just delivering food to medical hospitals and clinics. I'm like, wow. I was like, at first she was like, I don't want to do it, and I come home, she's like, okay, I want to do it, and so that was inspiring. Like, I was able to not just inspire others. That was another thing. I'm able to provide for others for work. But now I'm impacting my sister, who's now wanting to get into the carrier space as well. So that's exciting.
That's awesome. That's that of all the things, just that's probably the most rewarding, when you're able to help offer someone else. Obviously, your sister here, so it's personal, but anyone else an opportunity to provide for their family, right? That comes with great responsibility, but also feels good because that gives you a lot of the motivation and the why behind all the things you're doing.
Right.
Ryan, I want to thank you for being on the podcast. I'm glad we got a chance to dive deep into your story and your journey. The future is very bright. It's still young. You're still early in the game, but you're certainly making the right moves. And for anyone out there in the audience that is looking for a up-and-comer, hungry entrepreneur, go-getter, reach out to Ryan. She's all on LinkedIn. She's probably one of them more than I'm on there. So you can definitely find her when you're looking for her.
Yes.
And this was a really cool episode. So thank you for being there.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. It was nice to meet you, be on the set. So it was great to talk to you, and hopefully there'll maybe be a part 2 with the growth. So that'll be exciting.
I'm here. You know where to find me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Oops, excuse me.
All right.